Imagine for a second that you get mysteriously transported into a magical parallel world. Usually, you'd expect to be handed a legendary glowing sword or maybe some world-saving prophecy, right?
Mm.
But what if,
Right, like the classic hero setup.
but what if instead of a weapon, your ultimate superpower is just summoning a fully equipped camper van?
A camper van, that is just, wow.
Yeah, it's wild. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are pulling from, well, a stack of studio press releases, casting notes, and pages from the original Japanese light novel to unpack the newly announced 2026 anime adaptation of The Forsaken Saintess and her foodie road trip in another world.
Which was originally penned by Yoniori and Akenido, I believe.
Oh, exactly. And, okay, let's unpack this. Because the story follows Rin, who's this spirited 20-something woman who lands in this alternate realm with two, god-tier skills. One is survival, and the other is literally called Motor House.
Motor House, I love that.
I know, right? It basically lets her spawn an instant camping haven. I mean, it feels like rolling up to the Hunger Games in a fully stocked luxury food truck. You have, nights sleeping in the mud, and Rin is just kicking back with a kitchenette.
Yeah, that contrast is really the entire engine of the story. What's fascinating here is how this, it intentionally subverts the whole high-stakes fantasy adventure genre.
Because usually it's all about, slaying dragons and saving the kingdom.
Exactly, yeah. We are so conditioned to expect narratives driven by epic conflicts and magical combat, but by giving Rin these overpowered abilities, the story just eliminates the threat of the wilderness entirely.
She just bypasses the survival part.
Right, so she uses her skills to pursue her actual passions, which are, cooking and camping with her adventuring comrades. It shifts the entire focus from conquering a Dark Lord to basically extreme glamping.
Extreme glamping. I mean, I am here for it. But here's where it gets really interesting, and also where I get, a little skeptical. A premise where the main character just cooks and camps sounds fun, but
it risks getting boring.
Yeah, exactly. Without a main villain to drive the plot, how do you keep a low-stakes story like that engaging for an entire television season?
Well, that burden falls entirely on the execution, specifically the comedic timing and the character chemistry. Because without a world-ending threat, you have to manufacture momentum.
Right, which brings us to the production team behind it.
Yeah, looking at the team is so crucial here. The studio, EMT Squared, has Atsushi Nigorikawa directing with production assistance from Enkichi Kobo, but the real linchpin is Takashi Aoshima, who is handling series composition.
Okay, so I'm actually not super familiar with his previous work or, what that role entails. If you're listening to this and wondering why you should care who is doing series composition, what does he actually do?
So series composition essentially makes him the head writer. He's the one deciding how the chapters of the original light novel are paced out across the TV season. And since there's no villain, his job is to ensure each episode has, a satisfying emotional arc and a real comedic punch.
Got it. Has he done stuff like this before?
He has, yeah. He previously worked on The Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind, so he really specializes in taking fantasy settings and injecting them with rapid-fire, low-stakes humor.
Oh, that makes total sense then.
Right. And he's pairing that writing with character designs by Izumi Ishii, whose style is notoriously vibrant and expressive.
Which is essential when your biggest plot twists are visual gags about burnt food rather than epic battles.
Exactly, yeah.
So what does this all mean for the actual voice cast? Because if the script relies that heavily on comedic timing, the actors have to, really be able to carry that weight.
Oh, definitely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the casting choices show they understand that completely. They cast Sora Tokui as Rin.
Oh, I know her.
Yeah. And what makes Tokui brilliant for this isn't just that she's funny, right? It's her ability to ground absurd situations with deadpan delivery so you actually care about the character's mundane goals.
Right, making the everyday stuff feel important.
Exactly. And she's joined by Yuki Ono, who voiced a major character in Beastars. He's playing her comrade, Vil. It's a duo perfectly designed to balance humor and heart.
Wow, so we are basically looking at a highly dynamic narrative that completely avoids heavy melodrama. It's like animated comfort food.
That is the perfect way to describe it, honestly.
Well, you definitely want to keep your eyes peeled for this one. The premiere is set for 2026, but there's already a teaser visual out there that promises a perfect blend of lighthearted adventure and, frankly, mouth-watering recipes.
And this really raises an important question about our own escapist fantasies. We often think we want the epic, world-saving quest, but beneath that, there's just a very human desire for a good meal with friends in a beautiful place.
Which leaves you with something to ponder today. If you were dropped into a magical parallel world tomorrow, would you actually seek out those epic battles and ancient magic? Or would you, like Rin, just summon a mobile kitchen to cook a really good meal in the woods?